What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tide Talk. Before we do the full opening and all that, we've got new father Ryan Healy with us. How is everyone doing in the Healy household, my good friend?
Everyone's good. First RIFC game with my son, which was extremely sentimental. Something we've been talking about forever. Wish it would have been 3 points for him, but it's good to get him, used to something. Not get his hopes too high to start it off. But no, family's all doing great. Super excited, super happy that he's here.
Awesome. Very glad baby Healy got to start out with a draw as is customary in RIFC lore. I think that was the perfect way to start it.
There's a point where I was looking up how many 0-0s there have been since we moved to Tidewater, and I was like, this is really perfect for him, really getting him in the groove. And then we scored right away, so I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. So we'll get to that though.
Perfect. I'm your host, Matt, and whether you're a day one sicko or new to RFC, you found your home. Every episode, we're breaking down the latest from Rhode Island FC, the matches, the moments, the players, and everything happening in and around the club. Before we dive in, make sure you're following Tide Talk across all of our social media accounts. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, whatever that is, and everywhere else you scroll. Stay locked in for updates, exclusive content, and all things Rhode Island FC. If you're joining us on YouTube, please remember that chat is live. Say hi to us, share your thoughts. We'll pull them up on screen, comment on them, make fun of you, make fun of Timmy. It's a really a good time. And make sure if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you take a minute to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps us grow and helps us bring you even better content each and every week. All right. Cozy up. Crack a beer. Let's dive into this one. We're talking a draw. Your son's first game you got to watch with him. Awesome pictures you posted in the D36 Discord. Gator wants to know, does Healy Jr. have a foil bonnet yet?
No one does. Mine, I don't know if I said it on air, but mine actually was thrown away, confirmed. So there are currently no tinfoil hats, no tinfoil bonnets in the house. But I think Gator, it might be a really smart thing for me to do for just, his brain development and all that stuff. So maybe we'll get into that.
That is good stuff. You watched at home? Just the three of you guys?
Just the three of us. One thing about the tinfoil hat, every single corner kick, the guy kept bringing up the fact that should get chicken sandwiches if we score, and he was like, "I think this one's going to be the one." I don't know where his optimism came from, but it was a good bit he kept pulling off.
All right. So I'll kind of start my takes today with Actually, no, we're gonna scrap that. We got some slides going for you guys. We have a pretty big announcement, pretty special announcement. We're gonna go, but so here it is. We're gonna surge right into this announcement, Ryan. Right?
Attaboy.
There we go. Plug it. So we will be back live at High Motor. The return of Tide Talk Live, Tuesday night, St. Patrick's Day. Come celebrate with us. Our show will start at 5:30 p.m. It's going to be the Defiance kind of pregame spot for this one, the U.S. Open Cup versus Violence. And we're going to have a good time. We've got a pretty good show planned. Ryan and baby Healy will not be, in attendance. So we'll have to see what Timmy, Quadros, Hands, and myself can cook up for a live show. We've got some shenanigans planned. I will say that it is St. Patrick's Day, and we've got some shenanigans planned, and it should be pretty good. It's pretty exciting. What we're asking is, the show is going to start at 5:30. I know it's kind of tough with, getting in and out of work and all that. Try to get there a little bit ahead of time. Take home. Big news. Thank you to High Motor for having us back. Ryan, I hope I didn't damage your brain too much with the toucan on the top of their logo. I know it might bring up some sentiment, but
there's a very strong level of jealousy. Luckily, there's a very good reason I won't be there, but I am so excited for this. Big shout out to High Motor. I actually grabbed some takeout from there the other night. Great people, great food, and it should be an awesome show. I'm very jealous. I hope everyone gets there early, get some Guinness in them, and then the sickos can really enjoy the game that I think really is just for the sickos.
We're even hearing that El Presidente Irvin Vargas might have his first Guinness at this live show. So stay tuned. It might be worth the price of admission, which is free. But come for the food. Stay for the, somewhat boring entertainment that we might provide.
Listen, I think we can strive for a Timmy Sclafani 7 out of 10. That's what we're going for.
We're hearing Big Chicken is sabotaging the stream. Um, the chicken talk got the stream all messed up for a bit, so we might be we might be censored.
They cut. You did cut out for a little bit there in the middle of the announcement. So I do think Big Chicken is onto us.
All right. So anyways, maybe it was when I clicked over to the slides. Who knows? But the return of Tide Talk Live. Can you guys hear us now? Let us know in the chat. Hopefully it's all
You cut
good
out
and
for me
still
too, so I think you're good. I think you just like kind of froze a little bit.
Oh, great. Wonderful. But all right, you want to dive into the game?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'll start with the the tailgate. I got there a little bit later. Zach had his last rec basketball game. The lot was pretty it was kind of into the second row of the middle road, the second half of the lot over there. But a lot of the regulars seeing a lot of old faces, and some new faces as well. Just really good atmosphere. A lot of flags flying. People were rowdy. People were drinking. Coffee, I think, was a nice touch, especially on a cold, windy day. We'll say it was an absolutely freezing cold lot with the wind. It was nice in the sun, but there was very little sun there now. And or when we got there, but it was pretty cool. Seeing all the banners again, all the flags, all the drums, and kind of getting going into this one. The march to the match. And actually, before we even get to the march, definitely wanted to thank everyone who I gave a mic to and hopped on the first installment of Tailgate Talk. I think that was a really cool addition. I'm just very upset Zach was right in his score prediction and predicting that draw. That
I prefer Graham's. I prefer Graham's 2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
Straight F's in there. Love it. Zach's in the background flexing right now. I can see him. So excited claiming his win. But like I said, very good atmosphere. And then once we got marching, there was so much white smoke. I wondered if St. Irvin that you can see on Ryan's scarf there was elevated to Pope. There was so much white smoke. I thought a new Pope had been elected during the march. So St. Irvin might now be Pope Irvin based on that. But a really good march, a really good atmosphere. Big shout out to all the Tide Talk contributors for all the content we cranked out between Hands, Timmy, Quadros, Pat, all the blogs. We had our guy Edwin taking pictures for us that have been getting out. We'll have another few posts with those out too. Just some really good stuff from the Tide Talk crew. So appreciate all you guys, all the hard work, all the behind the scenes stuff to make it what it is today. It's just really, really excited to see that kind of continue and grow throughout the season. And then, we got into the stadium. There were a lot of long lines, so I was kind of worried. Sat down, and I will say, for the home opener, attendance was pretty low. It was pretty spotty. I thought it was going to kind of fill in from long lines, and Hans will say I'm always low on attendance. But how did it look on the broadcast, Ryan?
Definitely didn't look super full. The broadcast is always tough because you kind of over-index on what you see on the Riverside seats, and I feel like those are never full. In the summer, it's too hot, and in the winter, it's probably too breezy and stuff like that. So, it definitely didn't look great. I also have been again, I don't know if I'm just becoming a full-blown conspiracy theorist, but I've always thought that like the people actually just watch a lot on the concourse, and that is what makes it look so unfull. Like, quite frankly, if you're in like the middle of a row and you're trying to go in and out, like go to the bathroom, it's actually just really nice to go. There's a lot of places that just have like picnic, like little tables and stuff. You can just sit there, watch, hang out. So I actually
saw Sarah and Henry Hands at a table behind the supporter section. Henry was eating ice cream, complaining to Sarah how he needed to be wrapped in another blanket, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's cold and ice cream, and I get what you're saying too with watching, from those little alcoves, especially on a windy day like that. I think the attendance was in the 6,000s, which was announced, but I think it was actually much lighter than that in person.
I would say I was surprised to hear the 6,000 announced. I would have expected that there would have at least been a sellout in terms of tickets distributed. So that was a little disappointing. But I did hear a rumor that Henry Hands was the first official customer of the ice cream stand at the stadium. So I'm very proud of him.
Graham followed that up with getting Adele's. Kelly came back with Graham and Adele's, and I looked at her and both just shook our head. It was like, it makes no sense.
Those boys will not be put off by the cold. I love that.
We do have some good news coming from the terraces, though, Ryan. Gator says Pretzels genuinely leveled up from last year, which I didn't think was possible. I don't know how that's possible. I didn't get one this game Tuesday night. I think I'll definitely get get myself down there to get one.
I might buy a $10 ticket just to pop by and grab a pretzel and come back home. That is unbelievable news, Gator.
Take out Tidewater pretzels. That would be good stuff. But tough day for an opener, like Joe Burns says. Weather was cold and windy. Legacy had their opener, and there were a ton of youth tourneys this weekend. Definitely get that there. Irvin says attendance was okay. The wind didn't help, but it was good. Get that. All right. Trying to catch up in the chat. You guys are absolutely killing it. So love that. Remember, that'll be running wild throughout. So get your takes in and we'll be good to go. And then we also have Hama saying, was hoping Ryan's paternity leave would have lasted longer.
Just getting absolutely chirped.
Love it.
I haven't even had a bad take yet. It's coming.
A proper return to Tide Talk. All right. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's take a look at the starting 11. Even the USL doesn't know our formation by now. FOTMob botched this too. We had Koke Vegas and net, back line of Yao, Stoneman, and Odarce, Quizera, and Scardina on the wings. Holstad, Harival, Pity Ramirez in the midfield with them, and Leo Afonso and JJ Williams up top. The two-striker look seemed to really catch the eye of a lot of people, and we'll talk about stats as we get going in this one. But what did you make of the starting 11? We did see Amos and Jope on the injured report, so I think a lot of us kind of expected Hamidi Jope to start this one, but seeing him on the injured report makes sense why now. But outside of those things, what did you like from this, Ryan, and what did you not like?
Well, as Hans is alluding to in the chat, this was the first kind of nod that the production value was going to be just as shit as it's been for a couple of years, and we'll get to the next installment of just terrible production value from the USL and ESPN Plus and whoever else is involved. But yeah, so Pity, his last name is Rodriguez, not Ramirez. Classic mix up there, which is ridiculous that you do. Also just kind of strange yet again in year 3 of us playing the exact same formation. They're just putting people all over the place. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. The kind of biggest surprise for me was no Hugo. He was a real mainstay in the team at the end of the season. Also was a bit surprised to not see Noah in there, as he's also been a mainstay. But, it's cool to see, Afonso, Scardina, and Pity all get a starting debut. I think Scardina, we were pretty sure was going to start. And then Afonso and Pity were kind of, who's going to be a part of that kind of front mix. But, this is actually pretty classic Kano. When he brings in new people, he usually puts them in right away. We've seen that with a lot of the loans, especially when he brings a guy in, they start. So it's nice to see them go. And the upside is we kind of get them into it and gelling right away. The downside is I think as we saw, there's a little bit of growing pains there with these guys who have all only kind of practiced with a little bit of a preseason, and there's a little bit of rust and a little bit of gelling that needs to take place.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a really good point. And, like you said, some of those returning players, although still training, kind of getting back into match fitness and, getting the start, it does kind of delay things with integrating and, how that whole carousel runs. But, we'll talk about Hugo and his sub appearance a little bit later on and due to Zach's injury. But, I think outside of seeing the injury report, I would say Hugo is probably the biggest one I would have expected to see in here. And it was kind of going to be dependent on that shape of where we're going to go with Afonso and Williams, or where we're going to go with just JJ, Pity a little bit higher. How is that all going to play out? And it did play out pretty well. We do have some Pity talking here in the chat, kind of Pity shade, but I liked what I saw from Pity. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we kind of come to our newcomer section.
I would say two things here. One is I wouldn't be shocked if what the kind of front 3 plus midfield looks like throughout the season will shift depending on the opponent. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a bit of a more conservative, Harival, Hugo, Holstad type midfield with, some people up front. I could also see us having like a JJ with some more attacking midfielders, like a Noah around them and a Pity. I think you're just going to see a lot of rotation, a lot of mixing up there. So I wouldn't get too, if you're a club, especially a club collector sicko, I wouldn't be too I wouldn't be shocked if this kind of changes a lot. The other thing too about Hugo's absence, the other side of it is who's in his place, which is Zachary Harival and Clay Holstad. That is a double pivot that I am never going to turn my nose up at. I have been very clear how much I love Clay Holstad, especially in the middle, but I think Zachary Harival is a sneaky, one of my top players on this team favorites. And what he did, especially, that first year, we talked about the adult midfield so much with, him, Clay and Ibarra. He was such a huge acquisition down the stretch it really propelled us towards the championship. So, the fact that he's actually healthy and able to start game one is massive, and very excited to see him in there. Obviously, as you just alluded to, he did pick up a knock midway through, but hopefully that's just something that he can dust off, especially for the weekend against Louisville.
I also look at this as we're playing again Tuesday, and even though against a semi-pro squad, you do have players that you have to get minutes under their legs. So I think some of the regular starters that you might have seen on the bench on Saturday could make way to come in on Tuesday and get everyone kind of a balance of minutes within these first two games within just a couple of days.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so many chances in this one for RIFC. So let's take a look at one of the first and earliest ones.
On this near side, Scardina. This is why Rhode Island brought him in, for moments just like this. Onto the near side, Afonso. Trying to cut it back. The ball in by Stoneman. He's skied over the top by J.J. Williams. Maybe a hint of offside in there as well.
So we see a really nice ball come in from Stoneman there. It was kind of worked up the side by Scardina. Scardina, if he had a little bit more pace, I think would really be able to, break some lines, get it in. I think we don't have the clip of the one he went for goal on wide where JJ was absolutely bullshit that he didn't square him up. But I think if Scardina gets a few more, sessions in underneath him, he's breaking down a little bit further down that right-hand side, it would be good. But a very nice ball in from Stoneman. Leo picked him out, at the edge of the box there after kind of turning and seeing that middle being very congested, and JJ just kind of gets the wrong angle on it at the back post.
Yeah, I also think JJ was offsides if he didn't do that. But this is interesting because I've heard a lot of the Scardina talk about especially his pace. I was a lot higher on his game than I think a lot of people. The biggest thing to me, like watching that first 20 minutes or so, I was like, this is it's number one, amazing that Clay Holstad is now back in the middle of the pitch, because midfield Clay Holstad, center mid, is one of the best players in the league. And it's actually unbelievable that we went through the majority of last season without that. He was really running the show. But then I really thought Scardina, the attack was very balanced, which we didn't see at all last year. And, yes, maybe he's not the fastest player burning down the wings, but I thought he actually gave us a lot of control. As you saw in that clip, he made a lot of good decisions. There was definitely some rust and some just not understanding the runs his teammates were going to make. But, between him, Pity, and Leo, I really thought the three of them you could see what's the potential of these new additions here. So I'm very much against the kind of narrative with Scardina's game. I thought he was a little bit better than people are giving him credit for. And I think we're going to see throughout this season him being potentially one of the signings of the offseason.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you go back to our offseason overview, I kind of put him in my starting 11. Even the last episode with Timmy, Hands, and Quadros, I had him in my starting 11. And I just think that, like Hans says in the chat, he's an Argentine number 10 on loan. You brought him in to play him. You didn't bring him in to sit on the bench. But, I think Pity was kind of out of all the newcomers, I would say he was the most impressive to me. I think Scardina was solid. I do think I do think there's a little bit of a lack of pace there, but I think that's fine with the way the rest of this attack plays. And I think he was fine defensively too.
Yeah. So on Pity, I was always a little nervous about him. In all the pictures and stuff we saw, he's a little guy, and that's a lot coming from me. But I really found that he could really ride a challenge. He was very physical for his nature. And you again can see just kind of that real technical ability and that class that he has on the ball. I think will really shine again, especially as these guys gel and they understand each other's runs. To me, the standout of the new guys was actually Afonso. I thought he was fantastic. There were so many moments where he was kind of creating danger. You can kind of see what him and JJ up front can really do together. So again, all these guys need time to gel. We saw in year one, the attacking side was the last thing to kind of really pull itself together. We are really starting fresh up there without, except for JJ. So more to come there. But overall, between the three of these guys, they were creating chances for each other. throughout the match, including with JJ. So, you know, a lot more to come. And as, you know, Han said, Alfonso loved taking shots. I mean, that's what you want from a forward, someone who's going to actually try to put the ball on net and create chances. And, you know, as your favorite thing to say, spillage can happen from that. And that's where we hopefully will get a lot of tap ins from someone like a JJ, Alfonso, Pity. And even, you know, we've seen the wingbacks get involved there too. So a lot more to come.
For sure. I do want to go back to your point on Pity on the ball. That I think was the most impressive. Him in kind of half spaces, really strong on the ball, not easy to dispossess at all. So do really like that component because that was a component we didn't see a lot of last year. We lost the ball a lot in the midfield. We passed the ball backwards a lot, which we did not see very much of at all on Saturday. And I think that was a much refreshing, needed change, especially for our fan base, and just kind of seeing it. Like, I think we were just as excited. And I'm sure the players must like playing that style better. Theoretically, passing forward, going towards the opposing goal. What's going to happen, Ryan?
But listen, it's a lot. It's helpful in like, and we're going to talk a lot more about kind of these signings and their profiles. But as we're talking, right, it's like you have someone like a JJ who can hold out the ball. Leo seems to be able to really run and also has a lot of technical ability himself. Then you have Pity as well with a lot of technical ability. And then you have people like Clay Holstead firing in from behind them, like really using their athleticism and ability to get in and through. So again, I think the profiles that were targeted, you can really see the vision for what this team might be and how they're going to evolve. And you know, this is game one, and I'm very excited. You know, a day later, I was definitely very annoyed at the end of this match, which we'll get to. But you know, sleeping on it, you can really see what this team wants to be.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a look at the next chance Rhode Island FC had just a few minutes after that first one.
Yeah. Chance to maraud through here, Holstead. Yao of all people, oh, and the shot hits off the post. On the follow-up, Rodriguez skies it.
Francis continues to grow. He's fighting on that left-hand side, but the ball eventually is going to come back in. Holstead. And as the ball comes back in, it falls kindly right here for JJ Williams. Hits the other side of the post. And Rodriguez, when you try to use too much pace, your shape falls apart. And the number 10.
So really good strike there from JJ. Tight angle, unfortunately hits the post. Thought that shot had legs to going in. And then Pity there, you know, probably the biggest knock on his performance was he absolutely put his foot through this one instead of trying to place this one and probably going across the goal and giving himself a better shot on target.
That's such like a classic center back striker moment where like, yeah, I was trying to control the ball and JJ's like, no, screw that. I'm just shooting it. Yeah. But hey, you know who started that entire play? None other than Clay Holstead, you know, pulling the strings
in the midfield
there. I was almost just me and my son, both of us just in tears, just watching Clay Holstead run the show last night. I just can't get over how much of an upgrade that is for us this season. I'm just probably going to repeat it. It's going to happen probably 12 times this episode for his number, but that is, it genuinely was such like a breath of fresh air watching him just be in the mix, just put all of his athleticism and his energy into that. So, yeah, great for him to start it. You know, seeing JJ be aggressive from out there also is huge. You know, as we've talked about, like playoff JJ is a very aggressive JJ, and that's been someone who we've been able to rely on down the stretch of seasons, and hopefully him starting out with that aggression to start the year, seeing him get on the score sheet a few times, hopefully in March and April will be huge.
Yeah, really, really liked JJ. He had that really nice turn inside the box too. You could tell he was itching for a goal. Healthy JJ is a force to be reckoned with, and long may he reign, hopefully.
Yes.
All right, so moving on, we'll take a look at halftime stats from this one. So we had 60% possession in favor of RIFC. We outshot Sporting Jax 10-2. One big chance to their 0. I think the passing accuracy is actually backwards on that one. It was 83% for RIFC to 68 for Jax, 12 fouls for Jax, 11 for RIFC, and we had 2 corners to none for Sporting Jax. And I will say one of my favorite parts about the return to Tidewater was screaming and chanting, "We want chicken," with fellow grown men. And every time a corner kick was taken, hopefully Big Chicken didn't cut us out and censor us on that one. But it was a pretty promising first half. When I went and did Terrace Talk, I got some pretty good takes from people at halftime. So if you're ever grabbing food in or around the section, hop on down to 116 and come give your takes on halftime. We'll post those right up. If you're not already following us on Instagram, make sure you are. We're doing some kind of Instagram exclusive stuff this season, some short clips before, during, and after games that will we'll get a lot of your takes in kind of as they happen. So make sure you're doing that as well. But overall, thought the first half looked really good. Thought we were kind of unlucky to not be up a goal.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 10 shots to their 2. I really thought it was a dominant half for us. We should have went in with at least 1 goal, if not 2. And it's to your point earlier, like it seemed like a bit more of a direct, a little bit more aggressive style of play, which I think was very welcome, especially with all the feedback and all the discussion that we had last season there. So excited for that. Excited for when I make my return to Tidewater to sprint down at halftime from 205 to go get on to Terrace Talk. I absolutely loved it. The shift that Matt was putting in over the course of this day was unbelievable on the content side. But Matt, I actually want to go back really quickly before we go into the second half. Something we didn't talk about.
I had two pieces from the opening that I totally botched. I totally missed it in my notes too. So,
I think this is one of them. Is one of the kind of core things that you helped out with was the moment of silence. Not moment of silence. The 1 minute
moment of stillness. The
moment of stillness,
break.
which there's a great chant that I wasn't able to hear at home because, like I said, the production quality and value of the USL streaming is just absolutely as shit as the referee was all game. And you could not hear anything at home. They just were showing pictures of the crowd, which is very awkward. And then about 3 minutes into the game, the sound came back for the game, which was awesome.
Well, I was going to add, and I'll start with, thank you to everyone who shared that post, shared that message, and participated. I would say the whole South stand, we got pretty much involved in that one. There was all 3 supporter sections looked like they were definitely on their feet. It was great to see people chanting, and hopefully people kind of explained what was going on to anyone who had any questions and went going from there. But, I thought it went really well. People sent us in some really good clips of it too that we shared. The USL Players Association shared it as well. I will also add the players were very thankful. And I was talking to a few of them after the game. I got a few hugs and thanks for it. And, I think Clay actually said it best. He said, I know you were kind of the face of it, but please thank everyone involved. So thank you to all of our listeners, all of our followers on content. I think they liked that we kind of went with their hashtag of Stand for Standards and made that, the big message. And I know the league, shortly after we posted our clip, the league kind of posted something similar of stand with the players chant and kind of get things going. And I think that was absolutely great. And all caps, anything for Clay. What a guy, what a midfielder. Just a really nice job, by everyone who got involved with that chant. One weird piece to it was the clock didn't start right away. And I was behind the banner that Irvin and Matt Jean were holding up on the megaphone doing the chant. And I must have said Stand for Standards 7 to 10 times, and then the clock finally started. So I don't know if this was intentional and it was thinking the players were going to have a mental clock of 1 minute and then all of a sudden start playing, but they're looking at the scoreboard to see how this goes. It's not like they're keeping a mental count. So I think it probably actually lasted 10 seconds longer than it would have because that clock started late. So I don't know what that was about. If that was, trying to, kind of put a damper on things, but I think it actually elongated the message.
So I have to be so crystal clear between the production not showing the sound on TV and then whatever shenanigans happen in stadium. I do not think there was a bit of like collusion or fuckery happening because the production value of these things is usually pretty poor. So I think it was just the standard people not doing the best job there. So I don't think there was some grand conspiracy. I think it's just the classic quirks that this league needs to figure out.
I will also give the Sporting Jax keeper a compliment. He turned around and applauded the section afterwards. So nice. Kind of seeing it appreciated by both teams was pretty cool. And then right after that, Naren was right back on him. So it was classic support our players. And then once the game starts, ride the opposing team to no end.
I have heard if you so number one, check our socials. The videos are there. I have heard if you know the VPN trick to see the games via YouTube, you can hear it on that one. So
cool. The other thing, you said 2 things you had for pre-match. Then this was the one in my notes. I thought the new kit looked absolutely outstanding on the field. The numbers really popped on the back of the shirt. The badge is the best badge on any of the shirts we have so far. We did our kit rankings. We'll also kind of include that in our live show to get a little more feedback on where you kind of rank the kits and what you thought of the new kit, seeing it first time in person. But I really hope, and I would kind of assume this is going to be the one worn at every home match this season. I think it's an absolute beaut. I had it number one, and I was validated in my opinion by seeing it in person.
Yeah, I think you said it today. The kit looks great. Like I have it. I don't have it customized, but have with the name and numbers on the back with this nice blue color. With like, yeah, screwing up over here. It like really pops. It looks really good on TV. I cannot wait to see it in person on the players.
Yeah, I am seeing from Quadros. Didn't like the training kits though. The bright royal and blue. I thought the quarter zip was actually really nice. It was like a royal blue with navy sleeves. I thought that looked really sharp. Thought it was nice, and the very bright pink Koke keeper kit is chef's kiss as well.
Listen, I don't want to give the club too many free ideas, but if you guys aren't doing something for Mother's Day with that, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
And we hear it might not be until I think after that in the shop. So
okay, another free idea is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Make October.
There you go.
There you go.
A lot of lead time in that, so hopefully
yeah,
they can,
stock up. I feel like you'll sell. I mean, it'll pay for all whatever we need to pay for next year.
We got a couple people saying they also didn't like the training tops, and then we got others saying
thank God they don't.
They're fire too. and thank God they'll probably never end up in the shop.
There you go.
Was that the two things you had, or did you have something else from the pre-match?
No, I just had the one. I just wanted to make sure we touched on the great work that was done by everybody in the stadium who helped out. So.
And I can also add, talking to some players today, unclear if that'll happen in the U.S. Open Cup game, not against a USL side. So that's the caveat in that. If we hear back that yes, it's a go, or no, it's not, we'll post that out, let you guys know via our socials. But there was no plan as of now. But I'm sure once the two clubs get together and our players kind of start talking, that might be on the table. And if we hear of it, we're going to do it. As long as the players are doing their stillness pause, we'll be chanting. We'll be backing our boys.
It's just unbelievable that Tide Talk has accidentally become important in these things.
Crazy, right? I just look at it as it's a really pivotal moment. They want to bring in promotion relegation, make these guys, give them what they're worth to do it. I think that, the USL is in a spot where if you were to bring in scab players, the quality is going to go downhill through the roof. You've already seen clubs fold. I think it's just such a bad look on the league's part. Give these guys the standards, give these guys what they need to have a long playing career. And I think the league will thrive and flourish under that.
Just a little bit of health insurance would be nice,
All right. It would absolutely. Let's switch to the second half. We did see the first goal at Tidewater of the 2026 season. And we'll kind of start with subs. I guess that would be the better way, because this one happened a little bit later on within that first half. But most notably in this one, I think, was the Haraval injury, which is in the 75th. Hopefully, like Ryan mentioned in the opening, just a knock. But we did see Noah come on for Pity in the 64th. I think a really good 60-minute shift from Pity to kind of open his RIFC career. Really showed what he was about. We saw Logan Dorsey, or AKA Clay Holstad Jr. I think a lot of people were talking about the looks. I think back to if anyone knows the movie Tommy Boy, I think of Carl from Billy Madison. It was Billy Madison. Totally botched that.
Yes.
Carl from Billy Madison. I think he looks just like him. I would say that's my doppelganger for Mr. Dorsey. We saw him come on for Scardina in the 69th minute. We saw Hugo come on in the 75th minute for the injured Zach Haraval. And that was an interesting sub, because it looked like the staff very much took their time and was very indecisive about Hugo coming in. So you wonder if Hugo has picked up a knock and he's not fully 100%. That's kind of how it read to me, Ryan.
I obviously didn't see that, but that would make significantly more sense than not seeing him really until the end. I kept kind of texting you guys being like, where the hell is Hugo? Like, again, he was a mainstay at the end of last season, and just putting, he was single-handedly putting his stamp on games, especially at the end of the season there. But yeah, I thought, obviously sad that Noah didn't start. Obviously, Team Noah over here, but I thought he had a 5-minute cameo as that number 10, that kind of attacking midfielder, and I thought he was really fantastic there. He like immediately created 1 or 2 chances from that spot. But then the whole subs fuckery, which we've seen throughout the years, happens, and Noah ends up after 5 whole minutes being shifted out to right wing back, which was really brutal. Obviously, happy it wasn't Clay, but and we have seen, to be clear, Noah do really well at the wingback role. He did score the goal in the Eastern Conference Finals in Charleston from a wingback position. But again, I don't think that's like the number one place you'd see Noah. So you know, at the end of the day, though, the sub ended up working out for us with Dorsey.
More proof in the chat that people were getting Clay and Logan mixed up. And we're hearing an audible surge in the crowd when Hugo was suiting up. I will say he did look a little slow. He did have a moment where he got absolutely pantsed by an attacking player. It didn't look like Hugo at full strength, and I think that kind of goes back to them being a little bit reluctant to put him on in that position.
Yep.
And we're also hearing Hans say that broadcast did point out that Hugo is a fan favorite, and I think all of us at Tide Talk and a lot of our listeners would very much agree with that.
What's not to love?
But let's go now to the goal. So let's take a look at what got this one to 1-0.
Nothing is on.
I didn't pull up the yeah, thanks for alerting me to that, Ryan. I would probably have to pull it up on stream to make that happen. I was watching, I was loving it. But here's that goal that made it 1-0.
Oh, that's a bad ricochet, and Rhode Island, oh, they're going to score! How about that? It's a debut goal from Logan Dorsey off a Sporting Jax mishap at the back, but the RIFC supporters won't care 1 iota about that. It's Rhode Island's first goal of the season as they accept the gift and take a 1-0 lead.
Well, every centre forward chases down every single ball, and Olivares has to do a better job of lifting that ball. The trajectory was too short, so it crashed against his defender right into the path of Dorsey.
I will say, Ryan, watching that ball trickle in towards net from the opposing goal line where I sit was probably felt longer than the moment of stillness, the minute of stillness to start the game. It was like, I think I was standing between Matt, Gene, and Irvin at this point, and it was like, is it going to go? Is it going to go? The build up to it was absolutely incredible. Andrew wants to know, was this a Puskas nominee?
I mean, it has to be, right? Like, you don't see many beauties like this one, especially, you know, luckily our boy FQB got to see this celebration really up close and personal in his brand new seats. So please, if you see him at the stadium, go say hi. He did say he was going to buy anyone, and he didn't put a limit on this. So if everybody finds him at his seat, he's going to buy all of you something at the team store. And I think I can see his little hat in that picture. So go check him out down there.
The team store is pretty well stocked from what we hear. But we've got Sean Buxton saying hustle goal. You know, the announcer said that's what happens when people crash, the center forwards crash the net. We thought we had a poacher the last few seasons. I won't say his name, who did score on the weekend. So Matt Hans is very excited about that. But this is a goal that I think last season with the people we were in out, we probably don't get, but you know, call it what it is. It was 100% due to that Sporting Jax mishap.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to take anything away from Dorsey and the hustle here. Like, he definitely showed a lot of that. I don't know if you could even call this a hustle goal because, you know, he got played in and he was just chasing the ball. He got played in and then he was just kind of standing there and the ball happened.
Right place, right time.
Yeah, listen, I will take them however I can get them. So I really, you know, more to hope if every single game we get 2 or 3 goals this way, then fantastic. But, you know, I don't even know if you can call this hustle. I think it was just a guy making the run and just then standing in the perfect position for it to ricochet to him. So, hey, I'll take it however I can get it.
I do like Sarah's point in here. I loved how hyped the rest of the team they were very hyped up for him. He gave like a calm down, I'm here gesture, which I thought was really cool in his celebration. Very cool way to introduce yourself to the Tidewater faithful and open your RIFC scoring account. Hans has another great point. Funny that we scored this way after missing all of those chances that we had, but
that's the sport. That is the sport. Like, because the thing is, right, like, the only reason this happens is actually because it was I don't know who played him in, but it was a really good pass to try to play him in behind. And it was because they were putting that pressure on them. That keeper was really shaky all game at the back, but we kept pressing, kept going. And you kind of created a little bit of luck that way. So, while this is a wacky way for us to score when we had a lot of really good chances, it still is, because of the kind of pressure that we were asserting.
Definitely. All those chances, all that pressure, definitely need more scoring. But unfortunately, that goal or that lead was short-lived, and Sporting Jax clawed it back just a few minutes later with this one.
Has allowed Rhode Island to take the lead, but they're not out of the woods yet with 7 minutes plus stoppage time left. And Sporting Jax try to play their way through here. Edge of the area, it's chested down. The volley is saved by Vegas. Oh, and the rebound is in. And Sporting Jax, with their first goal in the club's history, have equalized.
Field is like a 10, and then Adam Press.
Rafferty Petter on the follow-up has brought Sporting Jax level. What a response from Liam Fox's men. We're tied, 1 each.
Look at this magic by Roberts. Didn't ask for permission. He just volleyed it. First time saved by Koke Vegas. He couldn't do much about it, Sean. He just got his two hands and look at the power. It had fire. And the fin.
A lot of crazy things happening on that one, man. First off, I think Frank's clearance was pretty poor. That little kind of weak header up the middle. One place you're always taught as a defender from being a little kid, don't clear that ball up the middle. Unfortunately, not much else he could really do on it. And then I think Stoneman gets absolutely lost in the mud. I don't know what he was doing, who he was looking at after that. Really good save by Koke. Really good parry away. Didn't parry it centrally, parried it outside. And unfortunately, we see Stoneman kind of caught napping, and the defender pounce on it, and they're able to tap it in to equalize.
Yeah, I mean, with that header, the initial one that kind of starts the whole sequence, I really thought that we didn't adjust well to the wind in this one. Especially in the second half, like we really struggled with the wind, and I think with that header, I think the person thought they were going to get their head through it, but it kind of like caught back up on them. I think Koke kind of has to react really late to it because I think it moves in the air really well, and then Stoneman's kind of napping, not staying with his guy in the back post. So, when a shot is struck that cleanly and the keeper is just trying to get anything on it, anything can happen, and it kind of like with our goal, it kind of bounced to the right person for them, and he just is able to slot it in. So. Overall, especially, having scored just 5 minutes before, really ugly stuff, quite frankly.
I would actually like to know the result of the coin toss in this one and how sides were picked, because I know they like to have Koke in front of the section in the second half. It seems to be kind of the mainstay, but watching their keeper and their defense try to clear balls out of the back line in the second half, the wind definitely had a big factor, and it was blowing towards us. And I almost wonder if that was the wrong decision, and kind of attacking that in the second half would have been the better option to give the back line a little bit more trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we were hoping. Well, I don't know who picked what. Like, we could just be completely making it up. But
that's why I said I would like to know that result on this one.
Like, we did see, Kano, big Tide Talk guy, start kicking towards Defiance in the second half last season. So, figured he might do that. Didn't know if he went full Belichick and really played the wind into his decision there, because at the same time, like our stats first half, like we were by far the dominant team there. So. Maybe the hope was, hey, go up 1-2 goals going into halftime and protect the lead. So, it's a weird game. It's a really weird game. We get a weird goal. They kind of get a little bit of a weird goal. And it's tough. Obviously, especially like kind of with all the excitement and energy in the stadium, really having that sucked out almost immediately. It's tough.
Right. Like Andrew says, do we know who won the coin toss? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think the wind definitely could have played a bit more a part in making this actual decision. But it definitely impacted on that play, and it definitely impacted Sporting Jax in the first half. So I think it was the tougher end to clear from, for sure. All right, next up, we have another clip for you.
And it's not just from Kano Smith, but of all the fans here, opening day in Pawtucket has not disappointed from a drama standpoint here. This is going to be a foul, and it's going to be a yellow card brandished here as well.
Come on, Leo. Come on, Leo. Come on, Leo.
And this might be a second yellow. Yes, it is a second yellow.
Injury department. And now that late studs up challenge.
Rhode Island had the lead for about 5 minutes in this second half before Rafferty Petter equalized with Sporting Jacksonville's first ever goal as a club. And now,
and that kind of winds us out to the end of the game. But we did see the red card. We had a really nice goodbye chant going on that one as well. But certainly chances galore throughout this one, Ryan.
Yeah, I do think the funniest thing, and you could hear it, and especially in that last clip, on the broadcast, the sideline was so audibly clear. Like you could hear like Kano, his
Come
staff,
on, Leo. Come on, Leo.
but the Jacksonville staff, oh my, they were laying into the assistant ref. Like the broadcast actually apologized for it multiple times for the language they were using. So it goes back to, I think Kevin mentioned it last night, but it's like you almost would be surprised at like what language. Like Kano gets a lot of yellows for whatever.
Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, it's like, okay, what is he saying that's getting him yellows versus what I could hear them saying was crazy. That, and then it's all that the red card was such a weird sequence because like it seemed like the announcers had no idea that guy was on a yellow. So they were very like, oh, they're like, surprised it's a red card. It's like, wait, you guys shouldn't be surprised. This is like a matter of fact thing when guy on a yellow gets a second one, he's now gone. The tough part about that, I actually thought after we went up a man, we created almost nothing. Like we were not very good from there. And I think that's a real shame because we had the momentum anyway. Like we were the dominant team throughout this match, but the fact that up a man, we couldn't create much. And we've seen this happen before a lot. Unfortunately, I think we talked about it at least 2 or 3 times last season. We have never really been good when we have that extra player. So the fact that we then, the same thing happened in this one, I thought was really disappointing because we both had the momentum already, but then having the extra man, I thought we were going to really get the job done.
Yeah, we definitely saw that a lot last year. It's just an odd thing that we can't take advantage of being a man up. It's something that's kind of plagued us for the last 2 seasons now. But full-time stats for this one, Sporting Jax with the 0.51 XG, RIFC 2.42. All those chances definitely needed to convert more to win this one. RIFC had the lion's share of possession with 58%. Ryan, you got some numbers.
I had a nightmare on this.
You got dad brain on this one. RFC 23 to 6 outshot Sporting Jax. 2 big chances to 1. 79% passing accuracy to 68. 21 fouls each and 4 corners for RFC. Frank Nodarce was the FOP mob man of the match. An absolute shift from the Cuban Missile Crisis in this one. Played all 90 minutes. Completed 42 of 53 passes at 79%. Created 2 chances. 7 defensive contributions, 79 total touches, 2 touches in the opposition box, 1-on-1 for his successful dribbles, 7 passes into the final third, 1 out of 2 accurate crosses, 2 accurate long balls, only dispossessed once. Like we mentioned, the 7 defensive contributions, 2 tackles, 4 clearances, 3 headed clearances, 1 interception, 2 recoveries, 7 out of 10 on ground duels, 7 out of 8 on aerial duels, fouled 4 times, and only committed 2 fouls. Just an absolute shift from Matt Hand's favorite player. The Defiant 1636 went with Logan Dorsey as the man of the match, who, came in as a substitute appearance. In this one, it's always tough when that poll goes out and then a goal scored. It's always going to do it. But for me, I think FOP Mob had it right. I think Frank was the man of the match in this one. I think Karifa was very good as well. I think the 2 of them were very, very good in that back line. Stoneman was fine outside of that lapse he had that led to the goal. So that's why I'm not going to include him in that. But I really thought Frank was outstanding in this one.
Yeah, I think you put it really well. Looking at the XG there, right? So XG is expected goals, and that is basically statistically what is the likelihood of the shot going in from where the person took it and like kind of where the goalie was, things like that, and the placement. And you can see we only limited Jacksonville to half a goal basically expected. So that's a really good work from the defense, especially as you said, Frank and Karifa, which has been especially someone like Karifa, 2-time defender of the year. To me, my man of the match would have been Clay. Again, I thought he was absolutely ran the show.
Fair shout.
Yeah, absolutely ran the show for the midfield. I thought he created a lot of danger from us. He just, again, classic Clay. He's here, he's there, he's absolutely everywhere. So
Clay and Leo were actually tied second joint highest player with 7.7 on FOP Mob. 43 out of 55 passes for Clay, just 77 total touches. Really nice shift from him. Like you said, really love seeing him back in the center of the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, we've always said, like, especially when with him and Haribo, they're kind of they almost feel like very yin and yang in a way. Like Haribo's a little bit more like kind of smooth, 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 whereas like Clay is just a human exclamation point out there. Like everything he's doing is like just at 110%. Like he's going into talent challenges 110%. His shots are 110%. Like he's just really doing a lot of work out there. So love to see him back there, especially with the hand injury, looking healthy. So really good stuff. But it's tough, especially when you look at this, especially if the stats were right on the slide. Man, would that be helpful for you all? Because
I
it's
should have went with
really,
mine because I actually made slides too, and I spent a lot of time on them. And I was like, "Oh, Ryan's got it. It's fine."
I know, classic. But he, this is a pretty dominant performance, quite frankly, by RIFC, and it's really a shame. My big worry after this one is, will this one feel like the Miami game last year, Monterey, where we dropped points? And, you go through the season and those are the teams at the literal bottom of their respective divisions. And I could easily see Jacksonville being down there as well, because they really didn't impress me. And I don't know that they have the horses to really make a lot of noise this year. So it's definitely a performance versus result game that I'm sure we're going to talk about right now. But yeah, really tough stuff.
I did want to give Karifa some flowers because I read Frank's full stat line because he had some attacking contributions as well, but Karifa was no cupcake back there. He had 11 defensive contributions, 2 tackles, 6 clearances, 3 headed clearances, 3 interceptions, 2 recoveries, was only dribbled past once, 5 ground duels won, 8 aerial duels won, and was fouled 3 times. Just an absolute monster on that back line, crunching things up.
It's unbelievable, like the force that he goes into challenges with.
Oh man,
It's
I remember that.
unbelievable.
I still think back to that first game at Bern where I was like, "Oh shit, he's not gonna last the full 90. He's gonna get sent off." But his timing is impeccable.
Yeah, and I have to give him a ton. I would say, like, of the kind of core guys who have been here for multiple seasons, I think you could argue very easily that he is like the most improved, and it has become such a core part of this team because he, especially
Right.
for a while, like he really made me nervous for a lot of different reasons. Whether it was like just going like hell, like just through guys, like and just picking up a lot of yellows. I think his passing was a little suspect to start. His positioning was really tough, especially I remember the first time when we moved him to center back. I was so worried about that because there was the goal I'll never forget. I think it was against Phoenix, where all 3 of our center backs were on one touchline and they scored that goal at Bern. So I think he's just grown so much as a professional the past 3 years. So have to give him a ton of flowers. It makes sense that he was the 2024 and 2025 Defender of the Year for the club. So yeah, big shout out to Karifa. I actually feel the other thing too is we did a prediction blog heading into the season, and one of the things was who's going to play the most minutes. I feel like a moron. I said Hugo. I don't know why. I just thought he was going to play a lot, but like it's going to be Karifa because he is just such a mainstay and core cog of that defense.
I think I actually got it wrong. I said that home opener at Bern. I actually think the first time I had that realization was when they had the scrimmage versus PC. I was like, some of these kids aren't making it back to campus tonight because Karifa was just going in there, man. Like he is outstanding. But before we kind of give our takes, let's shift gears a little bit and share some of your takes. So we did our RAFC in 3. If you're new to this, we do a post after each and every game asking for you to sum up that game in performance in 3 words. And we do the good, the bad, and the ugly. So give us a good, a bad, and an ugly from the performance. So we'll start on Instagram. We had RAFC News Daily, 20-plus shots and 1 goal, disappointing. Didn't really follow the message, but I think we can all kind of justify with that. Scott PM 67 asked, I am also somewhat new to the whole game, but can someone explain why JJ was our best option to take the sideline throws? So as we kind of talked about on here, and other people have kind of answered in the Discord and other socials as well. Clay broke his hand, had surgery, was playing with a pretty heavy duty brace on his hand. He's normally our long throw specialist, and JJ seemed to be the next best person for that, but it leaves that giant human being outside of the box and taking the throws. Luckily, you have Leo in there, who is also a pretty big dude himself, but I'm sure once Clay's hand is feeling back to normal and back to 100%, we will see him on the long throws again. We had friend Taris's RAFC in 3, should be better. Definitely should have gotten a few more goals. Our friend Booth Hill Brewing, what was that for his RIFC in 3? I'm not one to shit on the referees. However, that was abysmal, even by USL standards. Boy, do I have a story about referees from today. Good, Dorsey being aggressive and showing how much he wanted that W. Bad, the 22 shots going wide left or off the post instead of the back of the net. Ugly, not keeping a clean sheet against the team on their first road trip. And then we had DRMWVR 530. What a shockingly poor performance by RFC in their first match of the season. I don't know. I don't think it was shockingly bad. I think that is I think the chances, the style compared to last season were a lot better. To draw against a team that got overmatched by Hartford Athletic last week is disappointing. It's good to see them on the front foot and not setting back like last year, though, if any positivity can be taken. Ryan, I think there's more positivity than people are talking about in this one. Like we said, all the shots, the style. I think you also have to look at, although Sporting Jax might not be a great team, they actually played a game already. And, you kind of shake off those cobwebs and training cobwebs, and you've got that match under your belt. I think that is also another big factor in things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk a bit more about kind of the picture moving forward from this game and kind of the overall feeling of it. But because I am someone who reads Matt Hand's blogs, I went into this game knowing that Hartford didn't really blow out this Jacksonville team. It was a bit more of an even contest. I don't think the scoreline really showed what Jacksonville was like. It was a lot of kind of counterattacking goals from Hartford, which they are one to do because they are cowards and that's how they want to play. But yeah, definitely, I would say this is a great plug for. Please check out the pre-match lookout before games. Hans does a really good job digging into our opponents, and I think if you read that, you would have maybe not expected such a easy team and easy game.
For sure. And then last on our Instagram was Taris with his RIFC in 3, not good enough against a brand new team that lost at home last week. And you kind of touched on that as well. We'll shift gears and head over to the Defiant 1636 Discord. If you want to get in there, make sure you join the Defiance, the best supporters group in the USL. Ryan, your takes were good. GM Kano's work over the summer. I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, and we'll talk about the new guys a little bit more in a few. Bad, the inability to create clear-cut chances versus half chances and speculative shots. Ugly, our March. May allergy to wins. May have it. RFC in 3, performance versus result. Tyler had as good as 23 shots. Bad, only 1 goal. Ugly, 3 home openers, 0 wins. I thought for a moment we were going to get there. Really did. RFC in 3, impactful new signings. Love that one. Chelsea's RFC in 3 was holy offense Batman. Defiant 1636 board member Ryan good was I'll take my chances with 20 plus shots any day. Bad, some players limping off after the final whistle. Ugly, refs vision. Woof. In 3, be aggressive. Yeah, he had to sing that one, I guess. Thanks to Ryan for making me do it. Our good friend Leo is good was opening a season with a clear offensive intention instead of aimless passing along the back line. Probably my biggest takeaway, Leo. I love that one, and you love that you started with that. Is you're good. Bad, having to watch arguably our most dangerous offensive player do long throw-ins, hopefully temporary while Clay's hand heals. Ugly, few chances on target, truly testing Oliveira's despite 36 total touches in the box. RFC in 3, not quite thawed. Leo always kills it with the RFC in 3. He's got really, really good ones. Then we scroll down a bit. Our guy Nateski's good was the march to the stadium, scoring a goal at home, atmosphere despite the weather, real sickos, RFC chance. Bad, winter blast, defensive goal. Ugly, no home opener win yet. Best, being around the soccer family, riding this wave of soccer season together again. Cowabunga. RFC in 3, we are surging. I do love the promo video the club put out around the Surge kit and all the new branding and the Blue Lightning and all that good stuff. I think it's really, really well done. Timmy's good was higher home XG than all of last season except for Tampa. Bad was injuries. Jope and Amos already hurt. Hugo appears to be hurt. JJ almost had to come off for an injury, and Harivo did come off for an injury. Ugly was couldn't put away the team that Hartford beat 3-0 last weekend. Again, go read Matt Hand's blog. RFC in 3, great performance, but Andrew Quadros, good, more positive football, much more positive football played last night compared to last year. Bad, converting the chances we created into goals. Ugly, the attendance on opening day. Woof. RFC in 3, signs of hope. Terrace's RIFC in 3 was good to be back. He put to be as one word, very smooth. Good, we scored a goal and looked more offensive. Bad, we didn't win. Ugly, the goal we gave up. We also had Andrew Milko with good, the attack, bad, the draw, ugly, the wind. I think that was definitely the most ugly. RIFC in 3, cold but hopeful. Matt L's good was the amount of shots on goal, bad, the amount of shots on goal that didn't go in, and ugly, the pretzel line, although we heard the pretzels were improved. And his RIFC in 3, give me pretzels. I think that might be all on the Defiance. Yep, that's all from the Discord. We head on over to Twitter where we had a couple responses. Once it loads, of course. Tyler Hatch, RFC in 3, death, taxes, and draws. Good. Tied club record with 23 shot attempts, a much different approach from 2025. Bad, USL refs. Ugly, Sleepy Grant. And FQB, good, shooting the ball and attacking. Bad, Jojea Quazera. Ugly, Zach's potential injury. Thank you to everyone who wrote in on Twitter. And last but not least, we had on our Facebook page couple different ones on here as well. Let's make sure we get to them all. We had Chris Peterson, lots of shots, need more goals. So 2 different RFCs and 3 there from Chris. So thank you to everyone who wrote in across all of our socials. Again, we post post-match on after every match where we look for your input and look to share those here. And we usually pick one of those as our name of the episode title contender. So if you want to have your thoughts read, have your thoughts shared, make sure you follow us on the socials and you reply to those posts. But let's take it to our kind of final thoughts on this one, Ryan. And we've got some more slides to roll with here. In Focus.
Yeah, so In Focus is something we did for a bit of last year and bringing it back here. So Matt, if you want to go to the next slide. So In Focus is kind of a couple things that we saw in this game that stood out. So to me, number one was the debuts. So we did see 4 players make their debut in this one: Pity Rodriguez, Nick Scardina, Leo Afonso, and Logan Dorsey. As you'll see across the bottom, Pity Rodriguez with a 6.9 on FOTMob, Nick Scardina with a 6.6, Leo Afonso with a 7.7, and Logan Dorsey with a 7.2. I think some of these I would kind of quabble with. I thought Pity was a little bit better than this. Again, I was super impressed with Leo. I thought he looked really dangerous the entire match, and I think there's a lot more to come here. And then obviously Logan gets the goal and kind of the higher the number there. But Matt, any kind of big call outs from the 4 debutants?
Yeah, like I said earlier, Pity on the ball, I think, was really, really impressive in those half spaces, not dispossessed easily. I think he's very, very strong on the ball. I think he might be the best with the ball at his feet as far as breaking lines from a dribbling perspective that we have. And maybe too early to call after 63 minutes, but I think he is maybe our most talented dribbler on the team, and I think that's going to lead to a lot of chances this season. How about you, Ryan?
Listen, any take you have right now is what sticks with them for the rest of the season. So, speak,
Sure.
However you do. But no, I completely agree. I was really impressed with Pity, his ability to kind of ride those challenges, especially, which was my biggest fear with him. But kind of his creativity, his kind of fluidity on the ball was really nice. Again, I think Scardina, again, a bit of a mixed bag of a game, but you see what having a true right wing back will really do for this balance of this team. And I thought that was great. To me, Afonso was kind of the standout. I think he was, right there, up there for man of the match for us. Like he took a ton of shots, was kind of constantly involved, constantly dangerous. And I think that's what you want from someone in that front position, like someone who's going to make the other team a little bit nervous, not just JJ making the other team nervous, taking a little bit of heat off him. Hopefully that could free JJ up, especially with someone like Pity behind them pulling the strings, or if it's Noah or something like that. And again, Dorsey comes on, gets the goal, showed a lot of work rate, a lot of the stuff that we called out when we signed him from kind of the very quick review we saw. So again, I think this match was a massive win for GM Kano and assistant GM Sean Carey, who's currently interim president. There's a lot of titles flowing around here, but again, I think the front office did a fantastic job in the offseason. If you were to kind of lay out like what were the key needs that they needed to address this offseason, I think we saw some really good work actually on the pitch immediately in that regard. So I feel really good about the offseason after today.
Might have to mute the chat. We're getting a lot of Scardina tempering in here. Scardina was meh. Scardina very underwhelming. But guys, We signed an actual right back. Clay Holstead.
Clay Holstead played in
Clay
the midfield.
Holstead is playing in the midfield because Nick Scardina is here. And I think that's why we saw so many more chances. We didn't see people trying to pass backwards and find Clay wherever he was, hidden that friggin' right back. We were actually playing attacking football with a nice creative midfield in there. And people are going to tell you, oh, we had all these chances. Look how bad they were. This was a really good first step, in my opinion. I don't think it was. So not all glaze. I do think there's some things we need to work on, getting higher quality shots, higher quality chances. But having a guy who can actually play right back and allowing other pieces to fall in place, I think he was a very good addition. And I don't think he was met or underwhelming by any stretch of the means. I think he had a very solid first outing.
No, I mean the funniest thing too is some of the feedback is like he took that shot, or he was in the position to pass it and he made the right, like maybe wrong pass. Like the fact that we have people like able to do that is a massive upgrade. Like, oh, I'm really happy the right wing back position is getting in a place to take a shot, even though he might have been able to oh my god. So like it's just like, yes, he might have, there was some last actions that I don't think were great, but I thought he was extremely competent out there, and quite frankly, a competent right wing back that makes Clay Holstad in the middle of the pitch, who is one of the best players in the entire league, is like, yeah, unbelievable. So I will defend Nick Scardino with my life on here if I have to, because holy moly, this chat is absolutely cooked. I cannot believe any of you right now, especially those of you who are part of the Tie Talk family, who I will deal with after this.
Timmy must have went and watched Wicked again, because he is on an absolute wicked bender right now with the Scardina shit.
I don't care. Like, how many duels did he win? I don't know. I saw him in front of goal have the opportunity to shoot. I saw him in the box having the ability to cross to either Leo or JJ. I saw a guy who was in the correct position he needs to be in.
Yeah, I saw his name on the team sheet, which allowed Clay in the midfield. That's more than enough for me. And he didn't make an error that led to goal. He attacked down the right flank. I thought he linked up with Pity on a few occasions really well, and I think that partnership will grow. Stop the hate, guys.
I mean, the way we're talking about him is if he got like a 4.5 or like a 5. Like he was a very
well on Timmy's rating. I think he got a 4. I believe it was.
Which
I haven't read it this morning.
Preposterous. And again, read Timmy's player ratings with the grain of salt of a guy who watches
prints it out and prints it out and line your birdcage with it. I guess that's what you can do.
Unbelievable. But yeah, so again, I think with the debuts we saw, massive win for Coach Kano in the offseason, or GM Kano, sorry, in the offseason.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So next up, I'm going to bring us down a little bit. So
I love the title of this slide, though.
Thank you. It was one of those ones I typed down. I was like, a little pat in the back. But this, for those who are not watching, is March Madness. So, March Madness coming up with get your brackets ready. But we've seen so far RIFC 3 years in now. We are not the best team in March. So 2024 started with draw, loss. 2025 started with loss, draw, loss, and now we have 2026 starting with a draw. So currently, so far in March, we are averaging 0.57 points per game, and I don't know that if I need to tell anybody out there, but that is very, very bad. Last year, even with as bad as we were on about a point per game when we were really panicking. This is significantly worse than there. So it was one of the kind of the big things that I think myself, Timmy, we wrote a couple blogs in the off season of what like we really needed to see coming into this season is like, okay, 2024, brand new team, 2025, the chat, sorry, everybody, the chat is losing their mind. 2025, we had the new stadium opening, again, excuse, 2026, no real excuse. And we did see a draw that, again, I think the performance is good, but I think the result we will really regret through, like, kind of as the season goes on. But again, this is something that hopefully the next couple of matches we can rectify. Obviously tough with Louisville away on the calendar next. So, more to come here, but this team really needs to not put themselves in the position that they put themselves in the past few years of like, they need a really heroic fall in order to like even make the playoffs, which as of last year, or like fight for that home playoff match, because this is a team that, on paper should be competing more for the home playoff match versus fighting to get into the playoffs at all.
Yeah, hopefully playing violence next game will really get things clicking. Kevin Banger will give us some March Madness instead of Midness.
Absolutely.
This was I was dumbfounded by the chat. This was league play, right? Strictly league play.
I actually don't think we had any. I don't think we had any other games, but yes, it was
Portland away wasn't in that. mix
I
last
think it
year?
was April, but no,
Okay.
either way, it was only league play. Yeah.
I think you're right because I think it kind of coincided with like April vacation, school vacation. But yeah, hopefully we can get off to a harder start. Although,
Yeah, I mean, I want to be
like Martin says in the chat, next USL game is Louisville away.
I mean, we've done pretty okay there. The other thing about this, like, right, March hasn't been great. The other side of this, I think I wrote a blog, New Year's resolutions, where I went actually a little deeper. I went into like May, I think, and March through May is actually really bad. So maybe we continue to throw March away a little bit. But if April and May are better, then we're on a better start. So there's a lot of room for improvement for the beginning of the season. The actual original title of the slide was spring allergies. Or something like that. So I was going to go deeper, but March was bad enough, so it was good for the slide.
I bet you are. Sorry. All right.
But folks, as much of a downer that slide was, hope isn't just a motto for this state. So there was a lot of really good stuff in this game for us to go through. We had 2.42 expected goals in this one. That is the 6th highest expected goal in a game we've ever had. 1.91 expected goal differential. That is the 3rd highest expected goal differential ever in a match. And to be clear, that is expected goals. So that, again, is that percent, like the kind of percent or perceived value of the shots versus what the other team had. So really, really well done there. We had 23 shots with shout out to Tyler Hatch, did a lot of great work on Twitter last night. That did tie the club record. And we had 2 big chances, which we did average only 1.26 per game last season. So this was a huge improvement and huge step up. I think I said at my RFC and 3 good, bad, ugly. I still don't think we created like the really clear cut stuff that you'd like to see. But, from a game 1 where, again, the front 4 starting had never played together, 3 out of 4 of them literally have never played in Rhode Island in their life, probably. You really, there's a lot of improvement here and a really good floor for us to start from.
Definitely. For, like you said, all those players who have never played together to generate that many chances, I think that's a promising sign. I think that's something we can kind of hang our hat on and look forward to during the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends who are not the sickos of Tie Talk who actually reached out and they're like, "Hey, that team, there's a lot of shots." Like, they're kind of a little bit surprised. I think I unfortunately invited a lot of people to games last year, and they were not very impressed with what they saw. So I think maybe set the bar low, which was maybe good, I guess. So now they are very excited when they see a game like this.
That's it. Buy low.
Yeah, but yeah, again, this is a game that the minute the whistle blew, I was pretty upset about. I really was mad about that draw. We were significantly better than them. I thought the final third execution needed a little bit of work, but having that night of sleep or half sleep as I am getting nowadays, I think it was a little bit better than I remember. Again, I think we're going to hate the result looking back on it at the end of the season. We're going to probably say, like, how the hell did that happen? But I do think there is a lot of good that can come out of this.
I think your line of like this draw will age poorly was pretty spot on. Where I think this is a team that's going to be further down the table, and we're going to really hope after all those shots that we were able to get 3 points in this one. But hopefully we can step it up going forward. But before we do sign off, we've got a lot of you still on the stream, so if you haven't already, go smash that like button. Speaking of Louisville, our trophy from the 24-hour Purple People, always good talking to them. And make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. But any final thoughts, Ryan?
No, I mean, honestly, was very jealous from afar, seeing how the vibes, the atmosphere, everyone back at Tidewater. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Like, the team and everything is awesome, but seeing you all together, I can't wait to be back in there and in the mix. And I really do. Again, feel a lot better after this game and moving forward. I mean, Tuesday will be a big thing. And please, if you're around, please go check out the live show at High Motor. I'm very excited for the guys. I think it'll be fun. And, they pour an unbelievable Guinness there. So at the end of the day,
Creamers.
That's what they pour an absolute creamer. So go split the G with the Tide Talk crew in Defiance and then go have some fun at the match. That is, again, for the absolute sickos.
Absolutely. I know after we all last went to High Motor beforehand, before the bar event, Sarah was very pissed that we didn't take a picture of all of us together. We did that on purpose this time, Ryan, because you weren't with us.
Oh, that's sweet.
We did not No, we just didn't remember, of course. I would have.
It's because it's usually me being like, take the picture.
I would have photoshopped you in about this big in the corner of the picture,
Beautiful.
so it would have been perfect. But thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who joined us. That'll wrap things up for this one. Reminder, Tide Talk is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for daily social media content. Click that link in this episode description to follow all of our accounts. I've been your host, Matt, for my good friend Ryan. Thanks again for joining. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the Tide.
Up the Tide.